Welcome to part 4 of the Winters Eve mini album by Valeri at J&S Hobbies and Crafts. All we got left to do is assemble our cover. Are you ready? Let's get going. I find that putting on my embellishments and my snow and everything should be done before you put it on, because it's going to make it a lot easier. So glossy accents first, again, just like we did before. Glossy accents is basically glossy glue. I'm running little lines across my windows so that they look like they're glossy and have a glass shimmer. Okay, just like we did before. We gotta let this dry before we add the, you see the little glossy. Let's go ahead and get out your crystal clear. Got all my flowers ready to go. And your little sled, okay? And zoom in. Get your glue. And we're going to put snow in the window just like we did before, and some across the top and every place else. So let's start with the top. Just little globs of glue. Get out my crystal clear, and I'm just going to put some little snow right along the top of my window, just like it's been sitting on the window. And it's okay if it's globby. See, it's just going to look like snow in my window panes. And you can go ahead and put it all the way across the top, globbing it on and just popping it off. So go ahead and put your snow in your windows. I'll just put the rest back inside my crystal clear when I'm done. I'm going to put a little bit on top of my greenery. Now my flowers are going to cover a lot of this, so it's okay. I mean, it's all about just having fun. Maybe place my window box a little further down so that it doesn't cover everything up, okay? Okay. Okay. See little snow caps? Maybe even a little in here in our little curves. There would be snow in those. If you got a shutter, it's going to have snow if it has little curves, right? You would think so. That's another thing about the white that we left. It's going to make it look like it has a little bit of snow in it. So I always have a, like I told you before, I always have a method to my madness. It may not seem like it, but add a little snow to all of this. You know, you're probably laughing at me using my fingernail. Everybody else does. Alright, so we gotta let that dry. I'm gonna put away the, oh, no, I'm not gonna put it away. Forgot, this little guy. He's gotta have snow on him too. So I'm gonna put a little snow right here, right here, right here, there, on the top of it. Okay. Now, I know that I have seen on the internet that there is white glue that dries white, and if you have that glue, that would be awesome, because then you wouldn't have to worry about covering too much of this in snow. You could just use your white glue and cover a little bit of snow, and then it would look a little more white. So I don't have white glue, so I'm dealing with this. Okay, so I put some over that little piece at the bottom, and I've got it all over there, and I'm going to let this dry. Okay, so hopefully we are ready for the front. Now, my album is so thick that I don't even have to put something in it to set it up right so you can see the cover. I'm kind of excited, and I haven't put my mats in yet, so we don't do that together. So we're going to lay our window up about, I think I'm like 2 inches from the top. Oh no, maybe 1.5 inches. About 1.5 inches from the top. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down a little bit on my edges out here. Don't want it to come up. Like I said, about 1.5 inches from the top. About as centered as possible. Now I am a little further from the left than I am from the right. Get my little window box, and I think I'm going to use a tiny piece of score tape across the back and then just glue at the bottom. And the reason for this is because these flowers, see they're pushed over, I'm going to have to kind of push them back, and in order to force them, the score tape is going to work better. So I'm just putting a tiny piece of score tape right across the top of the back of the window box. Now see, if we hadn't put this back piece on, there would be no way to attach this window box, just like in the back. And I don't know what they were thinking when they made it. Okay, put a little bit of glue at the bottom. Now on my window box, I'm going to set it a little bit lower so I can kind of see my candle. Center it. Press. There. Just kind of arranging my flowers a little bit. Okay, so I just kind of pull some of my flowers a little further out. He's going to lean up against here. Okay? But he needs to kind of stick out a little bit, so I'm going to throw some zots on the back of it. My sled. Trying to be careful not to rip off the snow. So now I'm going to kind of place this so it looks like it's leaned up against the wall. A little bit of dimension. Okay. Alright, so it is time for poinsettias. I think I got everything set up. So I'm going to put one large one right here. And leaves. There. And under here. Blue next to it. Tuck it up underneath it here. Blue on here. Baby leaf. Big pink one here. Leaf. Do you always run out of glue in your glue gun right at the end of a project? 2 baby pink ones. One here. One here. Leaves. There. There. And one more tucked under there. Okay. Now I had a few more of my little baby poinsettias that I made. I'm going to cut the stems down and apply them on top of my hinge, so I'll be right back. So I used a couple of my little baby poinsettia flowers for my clasp right there. So I have a few more left. And probably what I'm going to do is put them on the inside someplace. So for now, I do believe we are done with the cover. I just need to add my ribbon closure. I'll be right back. So there's my ribbon clasp in on the back. I've got a couple of my little teeny poinsettias. So that is on. Now we always leave quite a bit of room because first of all, I do not have my mats in here yet, and the person that's going to be putting pictures in is going to need some room. So you can see that when I squish it, it has quite a bit of room. So I still have room for mats and pictures. Okay. Okay, so I added a little bit of stickles to my window box only because I felt like it would probably need a little bit of sparkle, and I'm going to add a little bit to my sled and maybe just a tad bit more to some of my tips of my leaves. Now most of mine have quite a bit of snow on them, so I probably don't need too many more sparkles. So if you feel like you need a little bit more sparkle in some of your areas just to make it look like it has a little bit more snow, the stickles will give it that kind of look of snow sparkle. So maybe a little stickles in some of your areas will help to pop out some more of the snow look. So just a little over some of my window frame. Okay. All right. I think that I'm going to let that all dry. Oops. Bye.